In the 16th century, the Mediterranean Sea was the battleground for a clash of civilizations. On one side, the powerful Ottoman Empire, eager to expand its influence into Europe. On the other, a small island fortress, Malta, defended by a determined group of Christian knights, the Knights Hospitaller. In 1565, these two forces would collide in one of the most epic and brutal sieges in history, the Siege of Malta. Malta, a small island strategically located between Sicily and North Africa, was more than just a piece of land. It was a vital stronghold controlling access to the Mediterranean. The Knights Hospitaller, an order of warrior monks, had been defending Christendom from Islamic forces for centuries, but in 1565 the greatest test of their strength and resolve would come as the mighty Ottoman Empire set its sights on the island. Leading the Ottoman forces was Sultan Suleiman the Magnificent, one of the most powerful rulers in the world. Suleiman's ambition was to conquer Malta and use it as a staging ground for further invasions into Europe. He dispatched a vast armada commanded by Mustafa Pasha and the infamous corsair Dragut, with orders to crush the knights and claim Malta for the Ottoman Empire. On May 18, 1565, the Ottoman fleet, numbering around 200 ships and carrying an army of over 30,000 men, arrived off the coast of Malta. Facing them was a much smaller force, only about 6,000 men, including knights, soldiers and Maltese civilians, all led by Grand Master Jean de Valette. The odds were overwhelmingly against them, but the defenders were prepared to fight to the last man. The siege began with relentless bombardment. The Ottomans unleashed their cannons on the fortifications of Malta, particularly targeting Fort St. Elmo, a key stronghold at the entrance to the Grand Harbour. For weeks, the fort withstood the onslaught, its walls crumbling under the sheer weight of firepower. But the defenders, despite suffering heavy casualties, refused to yield. With the fall of St. Elmo, the Ottomans turned their attention to these last bastions of resistance. The fighting grew even more intense, with both sides engaging in hand-to-hand combat as the siege dragged on through the sweltering summer months. The defenders, though outnumbered, were resourceful and determined, launching daring counterattacks and using every advantage of the rugged terrain. By September, after months of siege, the situation for the defenders was desperate. Supplies were running low and the constant bombardment had taken its toll. But just when it seemed that all hope was lost, a relief force arrived from Sicily. The sight of these reinforcements shattered the morale of the exhausted Ottoman troops, who had expected an easy victory but now faced a renewed and determined enemy. Realizing that their campaign had failed, the Ottoman commanders ordered a retreat. On September 11, 1565, the remaining Ottoman forces withdrew from Malta, leaving behind a devastated island, but one that had held firm against one of the greatest military powers of the time. The Siege of Malta was over, but its impact was profound. The Knights Hospitaller had withstood the might of the Ottoman Empire, halting their advance into Europe. The victory was celebrated across Christendom as a triumph of faith and courage against overwhelming odds. Grand Master Jean de Valette became a legend, and the city of Valletta, named in his honor, was founded as a monument to the resilience of the Maltese people. Today, the Siege of Malta is remembered as one of the most epic and heroic defenses in history. It was a battle where the fate of nations hung in the balance, where a small group of knights and soldiers defied an empire, and where the course of history was changed by the indomitable spirit of those who refused to surrender. Thank you for tuning in. Please don't forget to like and subscribe. As always, stay curious.